morning. I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope you are getting the hang of these activities slash modules. I just wanted to take a few minutes to record some instructions for you about your activity 2. So I hope that helped last time, and you guys should be pros at this now that you've done 1. But like I said, I just wanted to record this to maybe help answer some questions that you might have about activity 2. So for this one, it's all about strategy. So it's really, the objective is to show you how important it is to link HR with the company strategy. And in order to show you, what you're going to do is actually be doing that. So one of the tips that I wanted to give you is that you'll need to have an example company in mind. And for this activity, I do recommend that it's ideally the company that you work for now. So if you work for a company where it makes sense, then use that one. That would be great. It can be a small company. It's okay if they don't have an HR department. For those types of things, then maybe the company doesn't have a mission statement that's published. So you might have to contact the the owner, the company owner, to get the mission statement. If that's too much work and you decide, then use your example company as the company you used to work for if it was bigger. But really, your example company, the company that you're working with for this activity, it can be anything. So, if you're one of these people who works for a small startup now, you've always worked for small startups, and, there's no possible company that you can think of that works, well, it can be a random company, any company that you're interested in. So don't let that bog you down. And then the second portion of this that I kind of wanted to just mention up front is that you're really kind of skimming the surface of another whole management topic called strategy. And you guys will be taking a class all about strategy later on in your program. So for the purposes of this activity, and for you to get the objective of this module, you're really just learning, you're kind of taking a crash course in business strategy. And so I just wanted to mention that it's not supposed to be a deep dive into that portion, that subject matter yet. All we're doing is learning enough about strategy so that we can connect HR to it, okay? But certainly a very interesting topic, and you guys will get more of it later on in your program. Okay, so let me go through the steps. So step 1, you can check that off. That is what you're doing right now with me. After you get done watching this video, you're going to do 2 things. You're going to watch a really nice basic introduction video about business strategy by the Virtual Strategist. And that is provided, it's step 3, and it's also provided, all the links are provided on Cougar courses if they, for some reason, don't work for you in the Word doc. So that's kind of your basic run through of the whole process, and I want you to take a minute to watch that. Then going back to step 2, it's a really nice foundational article, Why Are We Here? And that is on Cougar courses in this HR for Me container that you've just opened. So read the article, watch that YouTube video. That's going to really help you understand the basics of business strategy, kind of the crash course that I was talking about. Okay, so then step 4, you're actually going to perform the first step of the strategic planning process, which is to assess. And of course, that's explained in the video that I just mentioned. It's a way of doing that is to perform a SWOT analysis, which I'm sure that you've heard of in the past. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And what you're doing is taking stock of the position of the company. And so that's the example company that I mentioned before. You're going to need to have some company that you're kind of thinking of all throughout these steps in the strategic planning process. And that company can work for you, whatever makes sense, that's fine with me. So you're going to be performing your SWOT analysis. Now, specifically to learn more about that, I have another link for you and another YouTube video. It is a deep dive into the SWOT analysis portion of the strategic planning process. So take a look at that in step 4, and then in bullet point form, I just want you to list the company's top 3 strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats from your perspective as best you can. Then in step 5, what you're going to do is craft a mission statement. Now, the mission statement, as the virtual strategist explains, creates the box. What is in and what is outside the scope of what this company does. So you're going to be acting like the CEO for a lot of these steps, and that's great. If your example company is a large company that already has a mission statement, don't look at it yet. Do your own. And then at the end, it would be interesting to compare it, right? You can list that down underneath the one that you created. So for step 5, you're going to watch the YouTube video about that small piece of the strategic planning process, creating a mission statement. And you're going to, there's really 3 components to that mission statement, and you're going to craft a mission statement for your company as best you can. And then, like I said, if it's a real company with a mission statement that you can get a hold of, great. List that right underneath. Step 6, pretend you're the CEO. Using the mission statement and the SWOT analysis as your guide, you need to create strategic objectives. These are quantifiable goals for where the company should be going, according to you, the CEO, where the company is going over the next 18 months, 2 years, and 3 years. So think about, this might be a challenging step and you might not exactly know what you're doing. Just do your best. This will give you an idea of what strategic planning looks like from that executive level, right? You're the CEO of this company. And then use the 4 different types of strategic objectives. So financial, customer, operational, and people. And you're coming up with one quantifiable strategic objective per category. And that's all explained in that introduction video. So you might have to watch that a few different times. And then if you can, try to make them SMART. That's, of course, an acronym, and she'll explain that in the video. If you can't make them SMART, you don't feel comfortable doing that, or that's not, it just seems too hard, it's okay. Do the best you can with this. Step 7, using the questions below, and these are questions that are actually pulled from your book. This is the part where we link the corporate strategy that you just created, those quantifiable goals, to HR. So this is really that important part that is strategic HRM that makes the HRM portion of your company strategic. If they're not linked, it's not strategic. So in step 7, what you really do is go through each of those strategic objectives, those 4 that you created as the CEO, remember the pretend CEO, and now you're thinking about how will, you take each one at a time. How will this strategic objective affect my employees? How can I involve HR? What is HR's role in each of those objectives? So that's the portion that I wanted to illustrate, maybe the most important step of this activity, because it really shows how to make HRM strategic. Then step 8 is an interview with Jose Thomas, former executive vice president and CHRO of Anthem, and he has some really interesting perspective on strategic HRM and how important it is and what implications it has for the organization. So you're going to watch that. And then there's a few questions at the end, and that's all. If at any point you are struggling, reach out to me. Also, I think it's not a bad idea to reach out to your classmates and see, how did they navigate this step, or, what did they do? So feel free to do that as well. Other than that, I hope you enjoy these modules and the opportunity to have some independent time to investigate this. There are so many great YouTube videos. So if at any point you do kind of lose sight of what you're supposed to be doing, you could always research, or you could always just go to YouTube and type in whatever step it is and try to supplement with additional information. But I would almost urge you against doing that, because there's so much more you could learn about strategic planning that you can really, you could get off into a lot of different things. There's a lot more information, and I don't want you to do that. So only do that if you're interested and you just want to learn more. But other than that, stick to the steps, and good luck.